when did you meet RA? What was the whole beginning to that? I mean, I don't think Chiclets is maybe even around or anything without like RA's connection to Barstool. And
yeah, you reached out in the very beginning, asked to be the Bruins blogger.
Yeah, but I think we met before that a couple
at the Blue Balls.
It might have been the March Madness party or one of those. Yeah.
Were you there at the early one, the place?
Yeah, a couple years in a row I went to that one. Yeah, so we knew each other casually, and then who was the kid? Justin Rebello. He called Glenn Murray a playmaker, and the comment section revolted back when it was all Boston centric. So you're like, I gotta let you go, and then he put up. This is the blog title. Look, need a Bruins blogger. Send submissions here.
I fired a kid for what?
Calling Glenn Murray a
Murray's a
playmaker.
goal scorer, and the kid called him a playmaker.
And so all the commenters were like, "This kid stinks." You got rid of him because like all the comment. This was like it was all Boston on there.
That's
and then,
weird. I'm calling bullshit on that story.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, you got
I don't
got rid of
the guy,
kid.
but I can't see me firing a guy because he called a hockey player playmaker as opposed to like a fucking.
I mean, you did tell them to burn down a campus, so I can't.
Yeah,
really,
no, but I
can't
don't
really
know
trust
enough
everything
about
you say.
hockey to be like, oh, Glenn Murray is that like? I don't know Glenn Murray.
Well,
Blogging under an alias?
For Bruins, no, I never did.
Well,
Bruins.
either way, he was out and there was a vacancy, and I wrote a blog based on the last night game, and didn't hear back from Dave, and then boom, it popped up on the screen the next day, which is fucking a thrill. It's like front page of the paper.
Oh, he didn't even respond.
No, never hear back, and then all of a sudden it's by a Bruins.
Was
game,
he asking for salary?
Oh yeah, like we had a bunch of different, and he also, if I recall, Rear's early blogging days, they weren't exactly riveting. It was like Bruins would win 5-3. Headline: Bruins win 5-3. It wasn't like we weren't like we were trying to get people to do it. He was being fucking the box score. That was my early complaint. It was like
Bruins win 5-3. Now here's a picture of Joe Thornton's kid's dick.
Yeah,
That's how you got to get the papers.
That's how you
moved.
get.
That was I guess my trainer. I was like more of a journalist.
It'll be like in the second period, the Bruins broke the tie.
Well, because I got the press pass, and I started using my like quotes that I got, and you're like, no, we don't want fucking quotes on here. That's for the paper. I was like, oh, okay. I was trying to, like I said, be a journalist, and then I think I got better, especially with the writing.
So obviously that was all the time around expansion, right? So you end up getting online. That's a huge boost. You start throwing these parties. That's a huge boost. You get money coming in, and then obviously that wave of guys you talked about, like getting Big Cat involved. Was KFC already involved at that time?
Big Cat said no, Biz.
Big Cat said yes, then no.
Oh, okay. He wasn't. You had some idiot that was doing Chicago. Neil Fannell.
Schneebly.
Yeah, Neil Fannell. He was so bad that people thought. So we hired outside. It went Kevin first, then Dan had this this website called The Hut Glove. It was like a blog. Great. Like you took one look at it, like this kid gets it. So we tried to hire him. I met with him. He's like, so how do you get paid? It's like, I mail you personal checks. Like,
unless I lose that month gambling.
Yeah, right. And I think he's like, oh, I don't know whether I want to quit my fucking full-time job for a guy who's fucking sending personal checks. So he backed out. And I couldn't find anybody in Chicago, and we found this kid, Neil. Awful. He was so nice enough kid, I guess, but just everything wrong. But when we hired him, Dan was like, can I contribute? And I'm like, sure, knock yourself out. I was kind of mad at him. It's like he backed out. It's like, you're a pussy. But he started contributing with Neil. Again, his talent was obvious.
So he's making Neil look even worse.
It was so bad, people thought it was a conspiracy by Dan. They thought he invented Neil to make himself look good. That's how bad Neil was.
So when you say you discovered him, was he just like posting everything to Twitter? Like what was
Dan?
Dan, yeah.
He had this website that really nobody read called The Hut.
How'd you even find that?
How'd you find it?
No, he was a fan. Dan is a caller on me and Elio's radio show.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
so
that.
All the early guys that we found were Barstool fans. They were reading Barstool. So when I was like, hey, we need new people, he applied. He was a fan.
No shit.
Yeah, he's on like the very first show with me and Elio when we couldn't get the technology. Like,
he calls in, hey, I'm Big Cat?
No,
hey, I'm Dan.
I'm Dan from Chicago.
Yeah. How did you find like Manzo, Chisholm, Jerry Thornton, like the first three?
They're all fans. They
Okay.
picked up the newspaper. They did whatever. So a lot of people don't know that. That's a very early thing.
Yeah.
Like we had, before there was Kevin, Dan, K. Marco, I had another original four. I had Chisholm, Manzo, Jerry made it, but it was really us four, but no one was making money. I wasn't, they weren't. And they all kind of were like, we can't do this anymore. We got to get on with our lives. Right as we kind of started hitting it.
Oh, so
and then the next
another 6 months, and they're probably.
Yeah, and they were great. They were great. Like Manzo.
I thought Manzo was brutal.
Manzo's bad at blogging. He's the best writer we've ever had.
No shit.
He wrote long form stories that were as
like
good
about stuff in the sports world, or just like any
life. They're very Barstool. Like
tell Biz how that guy got fired when you brought him back.
So Manzo,
Classic
Pete
story.
Manzo, I have a soft. He is the like. When he submitted his article for the newspaper, I'd stop what I was doing and read it. It was that funny, that good. And then we tried to hire him back once I had money as a blogger for the Yankees. And he pre-wrote a fucking blog about Derek Jeter getting his 3,000th hit. So it was already written. And it's like, it's coming, so you know he's going to get the hit. Turns out, if I recall, like Jeter hit for like the cycle, a grand slam for his like 3,000th hit.
3,000th hit was a walk-off dinger.
Yeah.
And he just pressed submit.
Oh, no.
He was on a boat, so it didn't pay any attention.
Like, congrats on 3,000.
Yeah, with no mention to like the fact he broke every record in the fact doing it. And that was the end of Manzo. He wasn't cut out for fast writing. He was long form, take your time, think. Whereas the blog was like, you got to crank him.